Hello, Wiki to you, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. What a doleful sky. How unexpected to see a traveler on this solitary plateau. Ah, we meet again. Not to be rude, but you don't look so well. Much like this plateau, you're looking a mite dreary. Oh, I apologize. Perhaps it was not my place to say as much. I understand more than most the burden of travel. As for me, I came to this spot to pursue an ancient song about a hero at this very plateau. I can't shake this feeling that we are destined to meet here. In any case, would you like to hear my song? Thank you, kind traveler. Now then, please open your ears and your heart to my song. Curious indeed, as it were, I pursued my teacher's old notes and found that song there. What sort of sound could alarm a horse so effectively? Kabam? Kapow? Rumble rumble? Honestly, I haven't a clue. It certainly helps to visit the locations that inspire the song. It helps me open my mind to inspiration. Those notes had other interesting songs too. I plan to visit those locations as well. Man, Cass is awesome. And why the heck is he not in Tears of the Kingdom? Let's not get too hard ahead of ourselves. Cass is such a good character. I'm so glad he's in this one, and I would love to see him in the future Zelda game. And his song, playing the Zelda theme, and some of the lyrics contain the words Breath of the Wild. I know it's kind of silly, but I love that so much. It's like every other 3D Zelda game before this point had a reference to the game's name in the game itself, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker, The Twilight Princess. Like, it was always like either a person or some item of importance. But Breath of the Wild is such a random name. Like, it doesn't really mean anything in the context of the game. But aside from the fact that you're breathing in the breath of the wild, you're free to explore this area. And it's just something that I feel like this song really contextualizes the title of the game. And I know it's very silly, but I just always liked that. I just wish that it was in the main game, not in DLC. That's my one big issue with it. And with that being said, I'm going to go into a bit of a topic that might not be a popular opinion, but it is something that I kind of want to bring up. So, I'm okay with DLC if it's done right. Like, Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion is probably the best form of DLC that I've ever seen in any game ever, where it added another story to a game that already had a great story mode, and it brought in a playable character that Splatoon fans wanted to see playable for a long time at that point. Smash Brothers getting additional characters after release is pretty cool. I wish that they would do like a deluxe edition that had every character on the cartridge, but I digress. This game, I feel like, doesn't do DLC that well. The base game on its own is pretty great. It is a massive Zelda game that's going to take you a while to go through. The DLC doesn't really add that much to the overall experience in the grand scheme of things. So, what you get with Pack 1, you get the Trial of the Sword, which is something like the Savage Labyrinth or the Cave of Ordeals from previous Zelda games. It was something that was missing from this game, that like having like an endurance run of enemies for like 50 plus floors or whatever. That was in previous Zelda games, so why wasn't it in the base game? You get the Trial of the Sword, you get a couple of different outfits across the world, which is fine, I guess. And then part 2, Champion's Ballad. This was hyped up to hell before release. It was meant to be like some big, grand, additional story that was going to make the game feel complete. Like, the main story is pretty good, I will say. It's not my favorite story in a Zelda game, I will say that right now. I feel like in terms of 3D Zelda games, Breath of the Wild is a little bit on the weaker side when it comes to story. But Champion's Ballad, the way they were hyping it up, made it feel like it was going to push it to the power of the previous 3D Zelda games. But it doesn't. I'm saying this right now so that it doesn't drag down the experience later when we get to the story moments, because the story moments in Champion's Ballad are pretty good. They're pretty enjoyable. But it's not to the degree that we were promised. And I don't know if it was just me overhyping it for myself, that, oh my goodness, there's a DLC campaign for Breath of the Wild. Oh my god, this is coming the same year as the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. Oh, I'm so excited for this, it's gonna be awesome. And then it comes out, and it's not what I was expecting. The big thing that irritated me about this was that the marketing of it showed Zelda in like a very prominent image. So I was expecting that finishing the Champion's Ballad would give you a playable Zelda, because playable Zelda was the one big thing that everybody was wishing for when Zelda U was coming out. Like back before we knew what Breath of the Wild was, everybody wanted Princess Zelda to be playable. She wasn't playable in the final game, which is a real shame, because this is one of the coolest versions of Zelda in history. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a moment, but as for right now, there's something else that's coming. To set foot in the shrine, I'm Ruvu Kuba, the name of the goddess Hylia. I offer this trial. A major test of strength plus Ruvu Kuba shrine. Yep, my opinion on this definitely soured when I saw this crap. There are so many tests of strengths across the base game. The fact that they have the audacity to bring another one into the DLC, that legit pissed me off when I first saw this. But then we go in here, and there's no monk to be found. They knew what they were doing when they made this shrine. They wanted to troll people. I hated this when I first saw it, but then when I thought about it more, I was like, oh, wait, actually, that is pretty funny. Because, like, no matter how strong the enemy is, we have the one-hit obliterator, so, like, it's not going to be that much of a challenge because we just one-hit them. The fact that they start you off making you think it's just going to be yet another major test of strength, but then you actually finish the trial and there's more to do, I actually kind of like that. I didn't like it at first when I saw it, and I was really annoyed by it, but I was like, you know, this is actually a pretty funny joke. But yeah, going back to Champion's Ballad, like, that was the big thing that I was thinking that they were going to do with this, because Octo Expansion just came out recently, and that gave us playable Octolings, so I was thinking that that was going to be like their big major thing they were going to do with DLC for Switch, was that they'd have like some additional playable character after their story campaigns. And, like, no, that doesn't happen. Zelda is never playable in this or Tears of the Kingdom. She's playable in Age of Calamity, but not in the main games. It's like, okay, that didn't happen in Champion's Ballad, and I'm upset about that, but, you know, IJ Numa did acknowledge that everybody wants Zelda to be playable, so maybe with the next game, and then Tears of the Kingdom gets announced, and I'm thinking that entire development cycle, the entire time we're waiting for Tears of the Kingdom, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're gonna hide Zelda being playable. She has to be playable in this game. And then Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and it doesn't happen again. And now I'm thinking, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but maybe there's a DLC campaign, maybe a Champion's Ballad would happen for Tears of the Kingdom, and it never happened. Tears of the Kingdom never got DLC. That whole... I've been holding that in for a while. I am really annoyed that they never made Zelda playable in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Again, she's playable in Age of Calamity, and that's fine. But does that count? Like, really? Does that count? It's a spin-off sequel thing to Hyrule Warriors. The story isn't even canon to Breath of the Wild. Like, I won't spoil it, but, like, Age of Calamity isn't even a canon story. So, yeah, that whole thing just really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm holding out hope that the next 3 Zelda games will have playable Zelda, because Echoes of Wisdom happened, and we did see Zelda playable in that game, which is pretty awesome. But, man, like, the fact that they gave us the best version of Princess Zelda herself in these games, and they never made her playable, it's just always going to bother me. Your triumph over the test of strength subverts a prophecy of ruin. From the ashes of Hyrule, a hero arises. In the name of Goddess Hylia, I bestow upon you this spirit orb. Tastes like a blueberry. May the goddess smile upon you. Three down, one more to go. The last challenge we'll be taking care of is going to be located towards the mountaintops of the Great Plateau. So, yep, that's where we're going to be going towards next. Teleporting over to the shrine over here is probably going to be the fastest way you'll get over here. So, yeah, that's my whole rant about the Champion's Ballad. It's the fact that Trial of the Sword felt like something that should have been in the base game, and then Champion's Ballad didn't live up to my expectations. And the outfits themselves, like the ones that you get, they're pretty cool. There are some really neat references to previous Zelda games. My problem with it, though, is that you don't get enough character outfit slots in the game to have them all. If you want some other stuff across the world, like as far as I remember, like, okay, don't quote me on this. I think you can have all the DLC outfits at once, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't actually know if that's the case. Yeah, we will demonstrate the DLC outfits a little bit later in the game. Like, I'm planning on having not like a dedicated episode, but as like some kind of side topic to a future video, showcasing the DLC treasure chest. And we already showed one of them with the Xenoblade 2 Salvager Trouser things. Alright, Patrick, climb up there and secure this rope. You got it. Patrick, you're going too high! I hope they put some air holes in that box. Take it easy, Patrick. You gotta acclimate! I'll take it easy when I'm dead. I'm shaking hands with Neptune! Woo! Excelsior! I am the Lizard King. Patrick! I think we should keep our voices down! We might start an avalanche! What? Well, I said we might want to keep our voices down in case of avalanches! What should we keep down? Morons. Our voices! You two, shut up! SpongeBob? Anyway, yeah, I'll probably keep that in the video just for the giggles, but we have our final enemy camp to deal with. I would say this one's probably the trickiest one, simply just because this Ice Whiz robe. He'll spawn enemies that you won't entirely see coming, so yeah, you'll want to watch out for that. Something funny I want to bring up about Switch 2 edition of this game. So, you know the Labo VR thing? The Labo VR is one of the few games that don't work at all on Switch 2. It's mostly because of the fact that the Switch 2 is bigger than the original one, so it's not going to fit in the Labo VR thing. But that being said, in the Switch 2 edition of this game, Labo VR mode still works. It still works, and it's so funny. Like, man, like, I do hope they do have, like, some kind of VR thingy for the Switch 2 at some point. Around my birthday, I got, like, a My dad sent me a MetaQuest, so I haven't played around with it too much, but there's been a couple things that have been fun to play around with it. Like, I really want to get Beat Saber at some point, because that game looks a lot of fun. But I'm really hoping that the Switch 2 gets some kind of VR thingy at some point. Whether it's like an expanded VR, like a Labo VR thing, or if they do like a more traditional VR headset. Either way, hopefully at some point that will happen. The Labo VR in general is just a really cute idea. I remember I was in college at that point, and it was a class for like computer game development. This class was more so talking about like marketing and things like that for video games. So like setting up Kickstarters and just things like that. We're starting off the class, and while the teacher's getting everything prepared, she sets up on the projector like she uses this as an example of like innovative thinking for game developers, and she sets up the trailer for Nintendo Labo. And like I remember like everybody in the classroom, like granted we're all like 20, 30, 40-year-olds watching this, and it's meant to be something for kids, but we're all just watching these cardboard things being built and then actually working for games. It was really, really cool. I never did get around to getting a Labo VR, or Nintendo Labo in general. My work at the time was that I had a cat with me, and she was very, very notorious for climbing in boxes. So at the time I was like, okay, I want to get a Labo at some point, but I have this cat who crawls in everything square shaped, so probably not a good idea. If I can track them down nowadays, I probably would want to get into it at some point. Like my baby niece, she's like 5 now, so that might be something fun that we can make together. Speaking of school, oh my god, I just thought of something. Like, this happened last week or whatever, but there's a couple things recently that have been making me realize just how old I'm getting, and the fact that so many people that I work with are like quite a bit younger than me is definitely one of those things. Like, I'm 28 years old, but a lot of the people that I'm working with at Disney, they're part of the college program, so on the younger side, they're like 18, 19 or whatever. Most of them were like early 20-year-olds, but one of the younger people that I'm working with was talking about the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's, the original game, came out when he was in grade school. And when I heard that, I just felt myself getting so old. Because, like, I was either graduating high school or I was almost graduating high school when the first game came out. Like, even in 2014, I was 17 at the time, so yeah, I was like a year away from graduating. But man, that just made me feel so old. And the fact that one of the people that I worked with also said that she was born the year Revenge of the Sith came out. To use as from the shrine, I am Itsukurima. In the name of the goddess Hydium, I offer this trial. Path of Lights. This is one of the coolest shrines in the entire game! Path of Light is awesome! And yeah, we did a jump cut right there because I had a field recording on this. But this dungeon is so cool! It's all obscured in darkness. You only see the faint blue light from the lights and the lasers and stuff, and the obliterator thingy that we have, whatever this weapon is called. I already forgot, even though it was in the previous episode. But oh, this area is so cool. They kind of expand upon this in Tears of the Kingdom in a way that's not as cool, but man, this is awesome. And like the spiky walls over here are just barely being illuminated by the torches. Oh, this is awesome. This definitely is my favorite shrine that we've seen so far in the DLC. Might be my favorite one in general from Champions Ballad, honestly, because being completely honest, I don't remember much about the other shrines in the DLC. I remember this one, though, always standing out in my mind whenever I thought back on this game. Just, this area is so cool. Which is very impressive because we're by fire now, and fire is usually hot. A guardian, whatever we're gonna do. Yeah, the Guardians right there were the reason why we failed a moment ago. So, I didn't see them coming. I saw the laser, and I was like, oh no, now I'm deceased. I wish I had the original recording. I wish so badly that original recording didn't fail, because I screamed so loud when that Guardian just randomly showed up. It was so funny, but now it's gone. We'll go up the stairs, and then the lights will turn back on. We can go back there and see everything else, but it's much better looking in the dark. It's like a Disney ride. It's much more fun when you don't see the lights. Although I've always wanted to see, like, I've always wanted to be on a Disney ride when it breaks down and they evacuate everybody. So, I've seen a couple of videos with that happening. My mom says that one time when she was younger, she was in the Magic Kingdom People Mover and they turned the lights on in there and that looked really cool. What I've always wanted to see was Expedition Everest with the lights on. That's the big one that I've always wanted to see. I saw Rock and Roller Coaster with the lights on because we did like a backstage preview of it. And they let us ride the ride with the lights on, which is like my biggest dream during my college program. But Expedition Everest would be awesome to see with the lights on and stuff.
I am Maz Koshia. You have done well to conquer the trials laid before you. You are Hyrule's beacon of hope. But your trials have only just begun. The divine weapon shall lead you. Now that you have proven your power, a new journey awaits. Go to the four locations that will be revealed to you, and reach for greater heights than ever before.
With all that taken care of, our weapons are restored, but we no longer have the obliterator thingy. How tragic. At this point, we are free to go to any other location marked on the map. In the next episode of the playlist, we return to the Wasteland region to take care of Urbosa's challenges. But if you'd like to do something else instead, we also have Daruk's, Rivali's, and Mifos. It's up to you.